Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Rhino's Reviews. Today, we will be discussing the latest Marvel special presentation, The Punisher: One Last Kill, starring John Bernthal. I'm not going to do a John Bernthal impression. That takes a special breed to do, and I really can't do it justice, so I'm not even going to try. This is, of course, a special presentation for Marvel following the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special and Werewolf by Night. Um, this debuted the following week after the season 2 finale of Daredevil Born Again season 2. And I absolutely love this special presentation. John Bernthal returns once again as Frank Castle, aka the Punisher, and it finds Frank he's in a rough spot, mentally. He's just not in a good place. I've seen a lot of people um, kind of complaining, critiquing, which is fine, critiquing that we've seen Frank in this headspace before already. Why isn't he just fully embracing the Punisher like he did at the end of season 2? I have some theories on that, but I'll get into that later. Uh, so this movie, you can call it a movie. It's just like a little 45-minute, 48-minute special, just basically a day in the life of Frank Castle, the Punisher. And it opens up. It's like I said, he's in a bad place. He's working out, working himself to death, drinking himself to death, popping pills. He doesn't quite know what to do with himself because he thinks he's finally finished his mission for avenging his family. He's eliminated the Nucci family, who we find out was another participant in the murder of Frank Castle's family. So he's taken out the entire Nucci family, and now he feels like he has no purpose, he has no direction, he has nothing to live for anymore. It's some heartbreaking stuff because he's seeing visions of his squad members, visions of his best friend Curtis, who was in the army with him, who is also a counselor. Um, he doesn't know what to do. He spends his day just kind of walking around. He goes to a coffee shop, gets coffee, and he goes to visit his family's grave. And oh man, this was really a hard scene to watch. But I mean, it's a good scene. Bernthal is so locked in this scene. He admits, he doesn't know what to do anymore, and he's tired. He thinks he's done. He gets a gun out, and he's ready to end his own suffering. To be polite about it. And then he gets a vision of his daughter. His oldest daughter, one batch, two batch, penny and dime, and he decides he doesn't want to end it there, but he's still not in a great place. He returns back to his apartment. Then, of course, we find out that the Nucci family matriarch, Ma Nucci, the Punisher forgot to put her down, and she decides she's going to put a bounty on Frank's head for killing all of her family at 6:47 p.m., which was the time that he murdered Ma Nucci's youngest child, who was no peach. Okay. So and then from there, the special switches from an introspective, psychological analysis of Frank and where he's at to full blown action. And man, it starts up and it does not let up until basically the special's over. It's got some great physical action. It's practical action. There is, of course, a wonky CGI effect. I'm not going to go into it. Everybody's gone into it enough. Everything about the special is amazing. Practical stunts, practical fighting, fisticuffs, which I always feel like the MCU is lacking in its movie presentation, apart from Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I always love to see my heroes and my villains go one on one, man to man, fist to fist, mano a mano. And yeah, Frank does that to every scumbag he comes across in his apartment complex till he finally gets out of his complex. And then he has a chance to either go after Monucci and kill her, or go and help a family and their daughter who are being attacked in the family's coffee/donut shop. Of course, Frank actually makes the right choice and he goes to help the family, save the daughter, and he kind of realizes he's found his new purpose in life. Um, it's not just to avenge his family anymore; it's to punish the guilty to protect the innocent. And of course, this special presentation ends, Frank's he's I don't know if he's all right mentally, but he's back. He's focused. He is lasered in. He knows exactly what he needs to do now. Okay, so some people have been saying, why are we seeing Frank? You know, we've seen this happen to Frank already. We've seen this in season 2 of Daredevil on Netflix. We've kind of seen Frank going back and forth with it in Punisher season 1, season 2. So here's my opinion. It's not right or wrong. It's just an opinion. So Frank in those, in season 2 of Daredevil, he's avenging his family. Season 1 of Punisher, he finds out there's a bigger conspiracy, and he has not punished everybody else that was involved with his family's horrible, horrible murder. Season 2, he's trying to live the quiet life, the normal life, and he kind of realizes he loves the fight. He can't quite get away from it. So, and at the end of that, he kind of embraces being the Punisher, just going around killing bad guys. And then the next time we actually catch up with Frank is in Daredevil, Born Again, season 1. It's a great, great episode where Matt Murdock comes to confront Frank in his hideout. And, he kind of basically calls Frank out on his shtick of, he's got all this technology, he's got all these weapons. He actually could be out there helping people if he really wanted to. And Frank, blatantly says, I was downrange, Red. I was out there. Look what it got me. So, of course, Frank comes back again in the season 1 finale of Daredevil Born Again to help Matt. But we find out that he did that to basically appease Karen, because Karen called Frank asking him to help out Matt. And, again, Frank goes back later in that episode to basically just take down some of the anti-vigilante task force. Frank gets captured, he escapes, and then, he takes out the rest of the Nucci family, and then he's in a bad place. But here's the thing, in my opinion. Throughout all that, Frank is merely just trying to avenge his family. He is not interested in helping people in any way, shape, or form. He's out there just to kill bad guys that he thinks are responsible and to punish them. By the end of the special presentation, everyone's like, oh, yeah, Frank's the Punisher for the third time. Now he's really ready to be the Punisher. He's moved on, I feel like, from avenging his family. Now Frank is all about stopping the bad guys. He may not be out there trying to protect the innocent. He's out there trying to stop the bad guys from doing any harm to people. Frank is out there, and like I said, maybe not necessarily to help people, but he's going to prevent shit from happening. So that's where we leave Frank at the end of the special presentation. He's embraced the Punisher. He's ready to go out there. He's ready to do some good, if you want to put it that way. That's how I viewed it. It's not right. It's not wrong. It's just my opinion. So overall, I would give the special presentation probably a solid 8 out of 10. It's not perfect. I always hate when they kind of do this and Frank basically puts on the skull in the last 2 to 3 minutes of the episode. But they make it make sense in the story. We always like seeing our heroes in their costumes doing what they do. Spidey in the Spidey suit, Daredevil in his suit. Wolverine finally being in his yellow and blue suit in Deadpool and Wolverine. We just like seeing them be in their costumes, do what they do. But it's also just too damn short. Man, if this, I could have done with another 40 minutes of this being like a full 90-minute special presentation. I knew we weren't going to get that because it's an MCU special presentation. They're always going to be, 40 to 50 minutes. But I genuinely really loved the special. Bernthal is just an amazing actor. Some people say he thinks he doesn't understand the character. I honestly, I couldn't tell you. I'm not a Punisher expert. I did not grow up reading Punisher comics. He's just one of those characters that I've seen in movies and I've seen in cartoons, and I've always really liked Frank Castle as a character, the way he's been portrayed in other media, and I always like seeing him pop up. I just like the way Bernthal plays him. I'm totally happy. I think he is by far the best Punisher we've had. In all the media. I feel like each Punisher has kind of they've improved on their predecessor in each way. In 1989 Dolph Lundgren, he was he was the Terminator. And all these years later, the 2004 movie with Thomas Jane, I really liked him as the Punisher as well. We got the angst, we got the depression version of the Punisher. And then years later, we got Punisher Warzone, which I absolutely adore. Lexi Alexander, Ray Stevenson, and that version I feel like was the closest version we got to the comic, where Frank is a man of action. He doesn't speak a whole lot anymore. His actions speak louder than words. And then John Bernthal, but then Bernthal gets the benefit of having basically mm, 3 seasons, playing Frank Castle. So what 13, 13 hours per season, and then he got basically about 10, 11 hours in Daredevil season 2. So Bernthal, he's just had more time to marinate. He's had more time to live with this character. So yeah, John Bernthal, he is my Punisher. Who's your guys' favorite Punisher and why? There's no right or wrong answers. You love who you love. You like who you like. Special presentation: The Punisher: One Last Kill. Solid 8 out of 10. It's streaming now on Disney Plus. Yeah, it's an R-rated film on Disney Plus, so don't let your kiddos watch it. Okay, be responsible. But yes, if you guys seen it, let me know what you think. If you've not seen it, watch it. Still, let me know what you think. So that'll do it for today's reviews. Take care, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.